Thank you so much for staying tuned to this channel. Welcome to another edition of International Forum. I am Wilson Omasha. Today is all about Israel-Iran conflict. Over a week ago, there was an attack on Iran by Israel. I will not say 2 weeks ago, or if you do the maths properly, it's like 3 weeks ago, yes. And 2 weeks later, there was a retaliation on Israel by Iran, and Iran vowed to retaliate. A few days ago, Israel counter-struck. It's like retaliation upon retaliation. We're taking a look at the consequence right now of Israel's retaliation on Iran, because right now the base with which Iranian used in attacking Israel, that was a target of Israel. Mind you, when Iran attacked Israel, they warned of severe consequences if Israel should do any other thing other than just maybe one or draw. This retaliation from Israel, they're going to retaliate 10 times what they did to Israel. And the world is yet to see what the retaliation will be like. Anyway, before talking about that, let's take a look at some stories making rounds globally. Let's move straight down to China, where Guangdong region has been eroded by flood. You get to see Mother Nature reacting to the activities of man. You get to see Mother Nature reacting to ozone layer depletion. You get to see Mother Nature reacting towards the legal and illegal activities of men, vis-a-vis burning of tree, burning of things that affect the ozone layer, excessive drilling, deforestation, you just name it. And China has been worst hit. The Guangdong region been hit by massive flood. Apart from China, Saudi Arabia, talking about the United Arab Emirates, they had their own fair share of flood. It rained, it was torrential, to the extent of this massive upsurge of water bodies. And many properties were lost. Some life also were lost in this region. But trust Chinese government, definitely aid will come to these people. But this is a warning to all of us to take care of nature, in as much as nature is trying to protect us from the adverse effect of the sun. The ozone layer, they are there, but when it's depleted, this is what we will see. But from China, and of course our heartfelt condolence goes out to the Chinese people living in Guangdong region. Definitely help will get to them. Straight to the U.S., where Donald Trump is on the fire yet again about the hush money. All right, now, our key players at the center of the former president criminal case, Donald Trump, about the hush money, he said he is not guilty. He just said, look, these things you guys are doing to me, these are not trumped-up charges, all because of political ambition. And jury has been selected. The jurors, they are there that went to listen to the first plea. Now, when he came on board, he made a comment, not guilty. And this is how the case definitely will start. And this is how persons will be able to know the outcome of the judgment to find out if Donald Trump will be found culpable or guilty in this particular trial. Donald Trump have been there. So many trials leveled against this man, so many court cases leveled against this man, but somehow he managed to escape. He managed to escape. He managed to escape being jailed. People like saying that in the history of the U.S., Donald Trump, as an ex-president, is the one with the most case of litigation after leaving office. Do you think it's going to affect his ambition, or it's going to propel public sympathy for him to eventually go back again to that Oval Office? Only time will definitely tell. Finally, let's move straight down to what is happening right now in South Africa, where Jacob Zuma has chosen to form his own political party, a breakaway from the ACM, this time around from the ANC rather, and this time around he wants to adopt the name of the militia group of the ANC. And the mother party is saying, look, don't use that name, don't use our logo. We don't want anything to do with you. Don't forget about the corruption allegation leveled against Jacob Zuma. He said, look, he borrowed the money, he's going to pay back the government big bad bits, okay? And they're saying he's corrupt. He was expelled from the party, but he's saying he's going from his own party, and it's going to be a breakaway from the ANC. They went to court the first time. He defeated the mother party for the second and third time. And this man is pulling so much weight. He's 82 and said he wants to vie for that same position, but this time on a different platform. Though the ANC logo and the rest of it looks so similar, they're saying that this will confuse voters. He said he doesn't mind because he is among the people, Nelson Mandela, that fought for the freedom of South Africa during the apartheid region. Now think about it. If you come with a logo similar to the ANC, don't you think there'll be confusion somehow during the election? But the judge said, look, every man do have the right to form their own political party, the right of association, whether it's in a similar logo or not. He is going to use a different name, but he's going to have the same logo with the ANC, but that particular logo is a militia part of the mother party, ANC. Somehow saying that this is a master stroke. If he's able to call his own party, definitely he might just become a president of South Africa once more. What do you think about that? Think about it. We'd like to get your comment on our Twitter handle at ITV Radio NG. Just hashtag International Forum. Definitely, I will respond. We'll go on a break. When we return, it's all about Israel-Iran conflict. Israel retaliating. What do you think will be the consequence? Then go away. We'll be right back. Barely months ago, when all these things started talking about the Israeli war against Hamas, there was a target in Syria, the base of Iran. Israel targeted that base, 13 persons lost their lives, including the general. And Iran said they're going to retaliate. They won't take it lying down. After all, Israel was the one that started it. True to their words, 2 weeks later, over 300 drones were sent out on an attack formation into the Jewish state. 99% were deflected, some made contact. And apart from those drones sent, missiles also were sent from Iran to that particular military Israeli base that was used to attack the Iranian base in Syria, and it struck its target. And Israel vowed retaliation, despite restraint, despite the warning from the US, UN, you just name it. Israel, of course, retaliated, targeting also the military base that those missiles came out from in Iran and very close to their nuclear base. Israel also struck target. Some are saying they are waiting to see what Iran will do after the promise that it's going to be 10 times worse if Israel should retaliate. And Israel has done that. I'm going to stop here because I want to introduce my guest. Far right, Honorable Frank Amega, a lecturer at Uniben, College of Medical Sciences, a clergyman, political analyst. Welcome to International Forum. I appreciate your comment.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Very close to him, Honorable Etiosa Igebo, a.k.a. Sani, a political heavyweight. Yeah, political analyst. Thank you so much for coming, Honorable. I appreciate the comment.
Thank you. Thank you, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Good afternoon.
Seriously, fine. Whatever. We'll talk about that later. SME, St. Moses Eremosele, a prolific writer, an entrepreneur, a politician, and of course, we'll talk about international analysis as well grounded. Welcome to International Forum.
Thank you.
I appreciate the comment. I chose to bring you back here because of your stand. When all this started, you were like, whatever, that Israel is the bully in this particular contest. That was your stand.
Definitely.
And I believe it still remains your stand.
Yeah.
Fine, fine. Now, let me start off from Honorable Frank Amega. Israel, true to their word, despite plea from the U.S. to exercise restraint, despite plea by the UN for them to exercise restraint, they went ahead. They attacked Iran and they struck their target. Take it up from there.
Yes, you said they attacked Iran. I will not totally agree with that. Because, as I said in Pidgin English, trouble sleepy and never wake up. The what you get at the end of it is wala. It's the wala that Iran wanted. Israel has been, for a long time now, attacking Hamas, which by extension the Palestinians. And Iran is a major financial backbone of Hamas. And they have their interests in so many parts of the East. So in an attempt to really ensure that they bring to their knees, that's Hamas, they had to find out the backbone or the backhand of the Hamas. And of course, all fingers pointed to Iran. And that's why he did that. And you recall that that was the first day of this month, April. On the 13th, Iran also did theirs. We are looking for animals that have horns. You see a snake still crawling out that is one of those that will have horns. And there is no fear as to maybe a third world war will erupt. It won't. Because all the missiles that they threw from Iran, the allies of Israel, like US and UK, they had a combined force to ensure that a major harm was not done. And with that, I don't think the conflict or war will escalate. It won't.
It won't escalate?
It won't.
All right, I'll come back to Honorable. Well, Honorable Etiosa, I believe you're following the trend. You know the story so well. Right now, despite warnings, Israel retaliated. But Iran said if they should do that, as before they retaliated, it's going to be 10 times worse. Take it up from there.
Well, I think Israel will retaliate because the superpower that is behind Israel, knowing fully well they also have very strong military capabilities, are the same people who are telling them behind closed doors to go ahead and do the needful and show to the world that they can actually defend themselves. But at the meantime, the same superpowers has submarines all over the sea that is leading to the Gaza Strip, through which Iran is bringing in and smuggling in weapons. To me, it's a sad situation because a lot of people have died in the Gaza Strip with the conflict that is going on between Israel and the Gaza Strip. And I'm sure when he did the introduction, I spoke about Mr. Musele and he talked about Israel being the bully. I think his understanding was probably be going back to the foundation of the crisis as to the occupation of land and why the Israelis should back off. And for some reason, the occupation continues because the superpowers are also behind them to go ahead and do the needful. So to me, I just feel the Israel and the Hamas war is a difficult one. I liken it to some of the challenges that is happening politically in my local government between the two good brothers of mine, of which one I was talking to just now. They're so dear to me, and most of the time, I try to make them understand why we should let go of this conflict, or maybe this disagreement, whether or not it is a direct issue with you or him or somebody who's around them. It's difficult to find a balance. So the Israelis would keep doing the occupation because Hamas keep digging tunnels. They keep wanting to attack Israel most of the time. And the reason why the Hamas group is attacking Israel like they did the last time that led to this bombardment from Israel, which I don't blame Israel for, is because they also have the backing of a superpower in quote they claim is Iran. So on the both sides, there's fault on the both sides. But like I keep saying, Israel is way too sophisticated for the Hamas militia group to contain. However, if Israeli is taking the matter beyond Israel to go and strike a target at Iran, it's because they know that all these military points that those drones were fired from, those area that is being sponsored by the same Iran. So they are trying to pass a message to say, look, we will not back down. If we have to die, we will not die without having to do what we need to do. Okay. So at the end of the day, you can see where the whole matter lies, because Israel will continue to do what they do, and Iran may say, well, maybe we don't need to attack them. Israel may say, maybe we need to pull back, because whoever fires the missile, anybody can get hurt.
All right. Thank you so much for your submission. Over now to you, SME. You said Israel is the bully, and for there to be peace, they should not retaliate. And Iran issued a threat saying if you should retaliate or target any of our side, what you saw is just 1/10 of what we are going to unleash on the Jewish state. Pick it up from there.
Yeah, like I said, I will repeat the same thing. Israel has been the bully in this case, not because they are a bad country, but because in this particular conflict, they did not understand what to do, except they are actually having a pretext working for some superpowers That's the only excuse you can give to them. Why are they bullying? You have a conflict with another country, and you think, you imagine, first, that the country has a military arm that is Islamic, so that is a terrorist group. Secondly, the country you are having to fight with, Iran is backing this country. How do you tell all that? You just wake up and decide. Then you're not going to that territory and offended them. Just imagine Iran did the same thing, because UK and the US are defending Israel right now. Those missiles were not brought down by Israel mainly. In fact, majorly they were brought down by UK and the US. So Israel should not take too much credit and overrate themselves. Now you are going, Iran is going to UK now and striking UK near the Buckingham Palace because you are supporting. What are you looking for? You're looking for big trouble, escalation. So you are a bully, you are creating unnecessary conflict. So what will happen in this situation? I've advised that they should not retaliate, they should swallow the humble pie and allow peace to reign, because a lot of people are dying. And these international superpowers should also be careful how they intervene, how they back Israel secretly and openly tell them to fight. And Israel should be careful, should look at Russia and Ukraine. Ukraine was urged on by the whole so-called superpowers. Go on, fight. Today, where is Ukraine? Ukraine is grounded. Israel may be set up for disaster. They should take note that this is the end time. Those who believe in the Bible, this is the end time. And disaster will happen. So who knows if this is a stratagem to bring them to this disaster. So if I were to advise Israel, at this level, you should de-escalate the conflict.
To de-escalate the conflict. Well, you heard him. He still mentioned that Israel is a bully. Taking a look at it from this perspective, you attacked Iran. You killed 30 persons, including generals, taken out of the board. And now you said that the country should not retaliate. Of course, over 300 was sent. To them, that was a distraction, because the main target was a military base whereby Israel launched an attack. And according to Iran, they struck target. A week later, Israel also retaliated, and they struck also the target whereby those missiles left Iran. Now, do you see Iran making due their threat, saying if Israel should retaliate? They've done that already. Do you see 10 times worse of what Iranian promised that are going to carry out if Israel should venture retaliation, which they've done?
Yeah, Iran is on self-preservation. As SME said, you know, SME entered into the studio with a mindset that Israel is a bully.
He said in this case, Israel is the bully.
A bully, and not minding the facts that will be brought up in this discussion. I came to the studio without a mindset. Based on the question you asked, from the opinions that will gather, that will form my discussion. Israel can't be a bully. You are fighting someone and discover that there's a third person that is supplying your enemy with some weapons. It's not imagination. If you read closely and watch or listen to the news, it's not imagination to say that Iran is the one financing and supplying military to Hamas. It's not by imagination. Israel didn't just wake up to say, okay, just toss a coin head or tail, the support is coming from Iran. It's clear. Iran is not denying it. Hamas is not denying it. So the whole world knows it. So SME, in one of your books, you can revert to that Israel is not a bully. Because if you understand the concept of being a bully, when you did nothing and you are being oppressed, Israel is not oppressing Iran. All the things Hamas is getting is coming from Iran. And with the way it's been, Hamas is not a country. It's just a terrorist group. And why would Iran be engaged in terrorism? Of course, in Lebanon, they have different places in the Middle East whereby they are fueling terrorism. So when it got to the understanding of Israel that the backup they are getting while the Gaza Strip is still burning is because of Iran's supply to Hamas. So what they need to do as a right-thinking human being or set of people is to find out and kind of dislodge wherever the support is coming from. And that was what Israel did. Israel is not going to embark on a full-scale war. There is no need. Because Israel is not defensive now. It's Iran that is defensive. Iran is trying to preserve itself and all its commitments to the Middle East. So there will be no escalation. I don't think there will be. There would have been if US, UK, what do you call that country now? France did not assist Israel in mitigating against the missiles thrown to Israel. So now that that has been covered up, they have been able to cover up the damage that would have emanated, there will be no need for it. It's not like I'm trying to blow your eye, and I threw my punch, it didn't get to your eye. So what was the response?
That was an attempt.
It was an attempt, and
okay.
I didn't hit you. Ultimately, the damage that Iran wanted did not happen. So Israel does not have a base to say, let the war continue. No war is going to continue.
All right, because right now, as they stand, from what an Iranian analyst talked about, though he was like, bragging on the rest, and they said those over 300 drones, they were just distractions sent towards the Jewish state, that a target was a military base whereby the missiles were launched against their own stand in Syria, and they struck their target. Take a look at the magnitude of that offensive. Take it up from that particular dimension.
Yeah, well, you see, I agree with Lecturer Frank Omego, Dr. Frank Omego, and also disagree in some aspects. The conflict has the capacity to go into a full-scale war, very much so, because in our adage, which he knows, that the man that spoils the soup will not tell you that even if you're throwing them away with the soup, that the soup should not go bad. As much as, like I said before, the issue that has created a problem in the Middle East within that area, when they fear that Israel is surrounded by the Arabian world, has never been solved, because it's like an issue that has no permanent solution. The more you're trying to have restraint, the more the militiamen will come and attack Israelis having their fun in a particular settlement. Those innocent people that was killed and attacked and captured the other time, kidnapped, they are not the government of Israel. They are just citizens of the Israeli nation. And between you and I, they do have the right to exist within the boundaries that the government would have said this is where they should stay. However, the idea of the bullying, whether rightly or wrongly, I don't know where to place it, because there's fault on both sides. As much as the Iranians will speak about so many things, and technology-wise, Israel is way ahead of them. If the war in the Middle East will start today, I can assure you that Israel will put surprises, because they have the modern aircraft. Between you and I don't know what is the military power of the man boots on ground in Nigeria, for instance. I don't know if we have up to 300,000 personnel in the army. I don't think so. But Israeli, every male or female in Israel is a military personnel.
Wow.
Because there are 7 million people. They grow up with the mindset that they must one day get up to defend their country. So everybody's trained to have the military capacity. So if you say that the defense was done by England and America, you're getting it wrong. Because Israelis and the British and the Americans are one and the same people. The military personnel from Israel and the citizens are trained by the Americans and the English and the British. So they do those things themselves. They've been trained. Most of the Israeli influence in America and England has so much in-depth preparation over the years to prepare themselves for circumstances like this. But in this particular onslaught, you can agree with me that the Gaza Strip and the tunnels and the bombs or whatever they've done in affiliation to whatever Iran is doing, that's created problem and identify the reasons why the terrorist group in Gaza feel they can now attack Israel.
Okay.
It's something that is neither here nor there.
Not there.
Iran is supporting them. At the same time, the Americans are also supporting Israel. To sustain.
Well, you heard him say it was Hamas that really started, and Hamas, Iran didn't hide their feelings that they weren't funding Hamas. They get weapons, they get money, they get everything, less than at 9.9% from Iran. So you're saying that Israel is a bully. You are not totally correct. Before you react to that, I want to go for a break. When we return, we will definitely continue with this discussion. Don't go away. Thank you so much for staying tuned. If you just joined us, this is International Forum. Taking a look at Israel-Iran conflict, the consequence of Israel retaliation. Well, I asked a question before I went on that break for what Honorable said. He said, look, Israel is not a bully that Iran is a country financing Hamas. So if they should attack, Iran in Syria base, that is like an act of self-defense, not an act of bullying. And of course, Honorable talked about each male child in Israel trained to be a military personnel. Like other nations, you have that mentality in Israel that one of these days you'll be called upon to defend your country. Hence, they have that mentality and they are battle ready. Take it up from there.
Yeah, first of all, let me quickly correct an impression he had about my being here.
Yeah.
He said I came here with a mindset. That was wrong. I actually responded to your question, to the direct question when you asked me about my last opinion on the matter that I said Israel was a bully. And I confirmed that Israel was actually the bully, and I'm not here to apologize about that fact. And so that has been said. Then the question you're asking me about this...
Yeah, so you're talking about Hamas, that Israel is not the bully because Iran is financing Hamas, and of course the number of male kids trained to be soldiers in Israel, and Israel may pull surprises if we should go out unchecked, if there's an out, war just coming up, Israel can just overrun Iran and all that, according to Honorable Teosai.
By what we know in the afternoon, I think it looks like Israel can overrun Iran because of the support base. But what we understand in warfare, I don't think that's something we just have to accept, hook, line, sinker. There's possibility that it could go either way because even the Iran is well backed by the superpowers of the world, by the current biggest superpowers in the world. Talking about China, talking about Russia. These are superpowers you cannot undermine.
But they're not come out to say they're supporting Iran.
That is war. In war, you don't show all your strategies beginning. It's when you go into the deep recesses of the war, you're not beginning to understand what's happening. So what I expect Israel to do at this moment, like I said, de-escalate. If they don't de-escalate and go into a war, there will be conflict. Now the danger of fighting, look at Hamas. The Hamas is not really the problem here. Hamas, yes, it's a terrorist group. Yes, agreed, it's a terrorist group. But it's not the problem here. The problem was even what's happening in the Gaza Strip. What is Israel doing to these human beings in the Gaza Strip? What has Israel been doing to those people in the hospitals, killing people in the hospitals? That's the gravest level of humanitarian crisis. Something that has never been contemplated in the United Nations. Israel is doing it. The whole world have told Israel this is wrong. Even Nigeria has spoken. Please stop this. Killing people in the hospitals in the name of looking for Hamas. And that's wrong. And that's what we make allies against Israel eventually. Now, you are fighting Hamas. When you look at a terrorist group, how many people have the Gaza people, this Hamas, killed in Israel? How many Hamas people have been killed? So who is the bully here? You are a bully because you think you have superpowers and you are going to another territory possessing, in the first place, the territory you are possessing currently is contentious. You will now go beyond there to another territory and you are dictating who becomes what in that territory. You drive the people away and you kill them, and that's terrorism. That's the highest level of state terrorism, and that's how I think. And so the problem here, take me correctly, I'm not supporting Iran. I'm not a fan of Iran. I'm a fan of truth. I'm a fan of justice. My interest in this matter is that there should not be world conflict. When there's a world conflict, it will definitely spiral. It will affect everybody. When the buttons are pressed and it can go out of hand, people will die. So many more people will die, and things will, the balance of scale, the balance of power will tilt, maybe negatively or positively, but we don't know. But we might be lucky. We can benefit from their own conflict. But I'm not sure because we are not prepared. So the best thing is for them to de-escalate, but don't underestimate.
All right. You said de-escalate, don't underestimate Iran. After all, they have the population also. They have a military
And you
might.
talked about everybody being a soldier. I agree with him. It's just like in Nigeria, people abroad can say every Nigerian is a soldier when they look at our NYC. You are made to go through the training. In Israel, you go through the 3 arms for 3 years, and then you are free, like NYC. Nigeria was supposed to be like that, but because of the war experience we had.
Nigeria just a few months.
No, because of the war experience we had, the weapons were asked, the military said you should take away weapons from us. That's why in the original act for NYC, we were supposed to be in the military. But they took away turned it to a small paramilitary, and that's why it's very useless. I would have preferred we have it. In Iran, it's the same thing. Iran has more population than Israel. And every average Iranian is nearly a terrorist. So, and they believe in one religion, and that religion tells them to fight and die and get into paradise and get something rewarded when you die. That's the greatest motivation. Israel, I don't know if they have that motivation. They don't even read the Bible. only for politics. They don't, this Israel don't call God in the constitution, very the constitution of Israel.
Because
God is not mentioned.
The Israelis are different.
God.
Okay.
The
Jews are
Okay,
different.
I will come back to that. Let me go to Honorable Frank Amigo. You heard him. He said, look, if they want to marshal out, if there's going to be an all-out war, you don't know where the victory will tilt or where the tide will favor. But now let's take a look at the issue on the ground. When Israel made a retaliation, U.S. said the $6.1 billion grant will be stopped because Israel retaliated. And of course, Netanyahu said, we're not going to accept that. Do you see U.S. making true that threat? Don't forget they have these bilateral relationship. They have these understanding that, back up your military, back up your process and all that. But right now, since you retaliated, $6.1 billion will be suspended for a while. Do you think it's going to affect Israel in any way?
Well, as you rightly put it, it's a threat. And they just want to feel the pulse of Netanyahu, whether he will soft pedal. Of course, going by his personality, he did not. There is no way America is going to withhold any good thing accruable to Israel. They can't. Not forgetting that when they threw missiles from Iran, US, Britain, France, and even Jordan came to rescue them. So it's like a brother-sister relationship. They cannot in any way neglect them. SLB, once again, from your statement, it's as if you are rekindling the flame of terrorism.
How?
Yes. Like if you're just going to cast aspersion on one person over an action, it becomes wrong. It's just like you just saw two children fighting. You now call them, say, who first knock each other? You say, no, you're okay, now you're wrong. Not knowing or not even bothering to know the remote or immediate cause of what happened. If you want to play neutrality, you're not in your saying, it's in your action. There's no neutrality. Nobody can be neutral between Iran and Israel right now. Any posture of neutrality is suspicious. You can't be neutral. Because our voices here, neither Iran nor Israel will put together what we have said now and act on it. But for the sake of the viewers elsewhere, you can't play neutrality. You must, in a way, talk in one direction. I would have been very happy if you were supporting Iran.
But he said in this case that Israel is a bully. He said
there's nothing bully about Israel. That's the point I'm making. There's nothing bully about Israel. Maybe we'll look for another word to use. If you didn't do anything, a bully,
yes.
Like our local school, the bully, he didn't do anything. We'll just call you, how much you have to 2 naira, give it to me, run away. That's a bully. You didn't do anything at all. Then somebody comes and hijacks your rights against your wish. That becomes a bully.
They say in this case they did something. They did
several things. Hamas is a terrorist group. Will you allow terrorism in the...
And Palestinians are terrorist people, right?
I said Hamas.
And Palestinians that have been killed are terrorists.
Yeah,
hold on. He has the floor. You react.
Palestinians are the Hamas that formed...
And Hamas were in
Wait now, sorry.
Hold on.
Answer questions.
Please, he has the floor. Please.
Answer questions.
Yes.
So, the Hamas are Palestinians. That Israel went to kill people in hospitals, I read it. The singular reason was that the Hamas were now short of weapons. They started hiding, using human shields. Maybe the wisdom of the Israelis was to, wherever Hamas will be, they'll just bomb it. Of course, there'll be casualties.
But is that right?
They wanted Hamas, just like they want to kill.
Is that right?
They want to kill a mosquito.
Oh, hold on.
I'm not a lawyer to...
Honorable, is that right? Is that act
maybe
right?
My next statement, you will know whether it's right or not wrong.
Okay.
You want to kill some mosquitoes in your room, and end up killing some innocent ants with insecticides.
Okay. I'll come back to you, because he's going to react to that comment you made.
Yes.
You have so much to say, so go ahead now, you have the floor.
No worry, if you have a question to ask me, you can.
All right, now, because the thing is still there. All right, now U.S. threatening to, withhold funds, $6.1 billion to that tune. Now, if you take a look at the Middle East, it's like shaky right now. Arena said, look, for what you did, expect 10 times more from us. Do you see this as a spark that is going to ignite
Nah, I mean,
a threat
he talked about
to global peace?
Yeah, he talked about something earlier on, which I think I will remember as I respond to your questions.
Yes.
The idea of the $6-point-something billion being withheld is just a statement from the American government because it's an election year. There's no other reason. And like Frank Amego rightly said, they cannot withhold those money because the Jewish people run the United States. The Jewish people run the government of France, and the Jewish people run the government of the United Kingdom. So how can they allow their brothers and sisters to suffer at the time of need? Just like as I said, he talked about China and the Russians being behind them. Okay, obviously, when the American put the peace talk on the table today, I can assure you that if the Chinese and the Russians will be more than happy to interface, whether it is Ukraine or whatever. The Chinese are known to be peaceful people. They are aggressive to those that they can oppress. They can control economic needs and be very aggressive. Militarily, the Chinese are not the most aggressive people, but the Americans can be very aggressive. You know, in terms of the Russian state, yes, obviously they are not happy with the role that the Americans are playing in Ukraine. And of course, the Chinese is not happy with the role that the Americans and the Western world, NATO is playing in the problem between China and the other
Taiwan.
states, and Taiwan, Taipei, whatever they call them. So obviously they are taking a position. He just mentioned about Jordan supporting Israel. Don't forget that Saudi Arabia still supports Israel as well. This is an Arabic nation. That comes to the point whereby you look at the Arabian world and the different, slightly tribal, coming together of the Arabian world. You have the Alawite, you have the Sunnis, you have the Shia Muslims. You can have maybe Sunnis or Shia living in the Gaza Strip as Palestinians. You might have the Arabian people being the Sunnis or the Alawite. They disagree as well. Like in Syria, the war in Syria is between tribal Muslim Arabian people. Mm-hmm. So some are for the Americans, while some are for the Russian. But the truth of the matter is that if the war was to go full scale today, just like as I spoke on Russia and Ukraine over 2 years ago, I believe that Israel will have an edge because they are more prepared for this kind of conflict over the years, and with the sort of equipment and the weapons they have, I can assure you that Israel has a nuclear weapon. But the Americans and the Western world has worked over time for Iran not to have a nuclear weapon. So the Americans have been using the Russians to de-escalate those issues because the Russians are working with the Americans on these problems over time. The Russians have never been so much against the Israeli position because America is with them. Only now because they have an issue with Ukraine. That is why Russia is not taking a different position. Same thing applies to China. So if America goes into playing diplomatic politics and negotiations like what they're trying to do, they'll come up and tell you, well, Israel don't do this, but they disobeyed them and did it. So what happened? What next? So I think the bottom line is what we are praying for, what we want is that for us in Africa, they have done their worst. From the issue of coronavirus to other problems that happened and to the war in Ukraine, the cost of grains and all these troubles, we've been able to go through it. Just like when the president went on a trip recently, he says, we want you guys to come and invest in our country, but even if you don't come, being a good guy, we'll do it ourselves. We need to get to that stage whereby things that happen outside the country does not directly or indirectly affect us.
All right.
So we're already suffering the brunt of war. We don't wish for more of this war. We don't want the Israelis to die. We don't want the Palestinians to die. We pray that they find a common ground where they can look at peace talks and look at ways to live within themselves, because the Gaza Strip is within the center of Israel. Yeah. So the terrorism thing, the one that you are beating is crying, but is not giving up. The one who is beating you is crying. You don't expect him to give up.
Over now to USMA. I know you have so much reactions to this.
Yes, just to our side.
No. Let's say, it shows that tries to be neutral here. Yeah, is that both of you are like, just miles apart, in your opinion. So please, go ahead.
Doctor, I think you should tone that a little bit. Don't expect people to be on your side. You must be here or there. Or if you are not here, you are there. You cannot have independence. You cannot. It's not I think it's not something that I expect from academics. First of all, I want to clarify something. People have very wrong assumptions about the capabilities of Israel in this particular conflict. These 300 drones, missiles that were dropped, they were not that were so super powerful that you were able to stop them. Those drones were targeted. The one that was sent the message delivered the message. And that was at the very base where they attacked the embassy. The others were just statements. What was the statement? The statement was the first time we are launching from our country to your country. Before now, they've been
That means we can reach you.
That's the message. You have been looking at a map. They are digging tunnels. You are looking at tunnels. We are coming over the boards. So you are expecting you have to fight with allies who will come with greater allies. It's just a statement. I listened to Khomeini, their leader, spiritual leader. He spoke on Sunday, and he clarified this when he was speaking. He said that they are not concerned about the impact of the drones. They are only concerned about the statements they made that they have been able for the first time to come, and they are giving them that warning that if they will continue in the provocative actions, they will retaliate in ways they have never seen before. And that's what should be very instructive at this point. It's not whether we will like Israel because we are a Christian state or so, all this religious thinking. I think my doctor maybe is talking from the religious perspective. I'm a Christian. And I don't have to agree with a bully. And why is Israel a bully? Now, I will quickly clarify that, because in the last week, I did explain that he was not here then. I said a bully in this case, you went to another country, Palestine, Palestinian territory. You are killing innocent people. There is no other definition of a bully apart from that. That's one. You come to the Middle East. In 1948, you were being battered all over. In Germany, in Poland, all over Europe. You were being battered, you were being oppressed because you oppressed them before. And now they gave you a state that is not yours. Don't confuse, I keep saying, don't confuse state of Israel from the Israel of the Bible. There are two different people. I will not go into that in this discussion, maybe in a future discussion. Then you are given a territory to occupy. And then you come in this territory, America and Europe, they fought for you. America, the rest of the world, they fought for you to give you a space. You got the space, you are going into the other people's space who are also not the owners. Two thieves are in the land. You are going there, you are claiming their own, you are killing everybody, you have no conscience. For God's sake, you stop. People should tell Israel to stop. There's a time to stop. You need to build world peace, because if it escalates, the danger is this. You see China, you say they're not militarily. They have been quiet. They are not quiet. They have the capability to change this world. Just like America changed the world in 1945, when they dropped something in Hiroshima. And they told the world that we are capable. And it was from that point they became a superpower. They dislodged the United Kingdom and the rest of Europe. And so China is just waiting for these young people to fight themselves and wear themselves out, and then they drop something somewhere and tell the world that, oh, we have something new. You know, Russia is there waiting to take advantage of the weakness of America. Now, why is America angry? About this 6 point something billion. The bomb, I also listened to Khomeini. He said we did our attack with the least cost to get the maximum output. I listened to America, analyzed the bomb, the weapons they used. America used it. America used their weapon, America and the UK and the Jordanian government. The cost of that defense was over $1.something billion. And they're already quarreling over this. It's too expensive. And that's why they're asking Israel, stop. Israel is still provoking them, and they're going to spend taxpayers' money in election year to stop again. More money. These guys are coming to attack with small money. That's a strategy. So they will wear you away. And don't forget the attack. The attack came 72 hours. The warning came. If it was a surprise attack, they would destroy everywhere. They gave warning to America. We want to do this. Because what they did, 72 hours. Please leave your target. We want to come. They gave it to France. They gave it to UK. It was not that they were just superpower waiting. There's nothing waiting there. If they had come, 72 hours was enough so that they can leave, so that there will not be collateral damage. And you call that a bully? That's a smart. Israel just went, boom, one night, on April Fool's Day, like fools, dropping bombs in people on that embassies.
All right.
That's wrong.
And that is our last time, because we are pressed for time. You've done elaborate explanation. So, Honorable, You heard him.
I like SME's lamentations. I like his lamentations.
Thank you.
And I hope I will take it away from here.
All right.
I will dump it here.
Okay.
So the point is, Israel, as we know geographically, is a midst of enemies. That's why they are battle ready. So any action you will take at that point should not be misjudged. If they were in the midst of friends, people of like minds, they will not appear like the word has been using continuously, bully. They are not bullying. They are just battle ready. Should anything come up. So, even between Israel and Iran now, Israel is not panicking. It's not. It's Iran that is on the defensive, trying to have that self-actualization to the extent that they don't crush them. You can't compare Israel and Iran in terms of weapons and all that. There's no basis. There's no basis. So what I expect, that's what I said in my introductory statement, that this crisis will not erupt into a war-like type. It won't. Because US, UK, France and Jordan, they have helped to salvage the situation. So there is no basis for Israel to have a reprisal attack. There's no basis for that. I'm sure Israel will calm down on that.
But they've done it already. They did.
Thereafter, now, no. Like the way they are bombarding.
But now, after that, they stopped.
They have stopped. They may not do that again.
Okay.
They won't do that again.
All right. Over now to your last line.
Well, the Hamas thing is within the state of Israel. And they will continue to do that no matter what it takes. And for SME who talked about what the capabilities of Iran is, I don't know, maybe he has lived in the West, maybe he has lived with white people, maybe you have, I don't know which country you live.
Germany and Europe.
And in Europe. I'm sure if you've lived there, like I've lived in Europe myself and been to many places around the world, you will agree with me that Israel today is more militarily sophisticated than Iran can ever be. Iran is still trying using small weapons like drones and whatnot. They don't even need to spend $1 billion to defend that. They have their little missile defense system. They'll defend that.
And it work.
Of course it works. Bro, let me tell you, whether you like it or not, economically, militarily, America still remains #1.
Yeah.
I know that Russia is strong. The reason why Russia and America will not go head to head is because the two states will stop existing because of the presence of nuclear weapon. They will never use nuclear weapon. We don't wish anybody to use nuclear weapon because if they do, the world will be heavily damaged. So at the end of the day, I know you two have your different positions and maybe him speaking from the religious aspect and whatnot. Like I said before, I said the problem of the Israel and the Palestinians and the reason why this terrorism thing they call Gaza Strip and the Hamas thing came up was because of the issue of land. But you've come to further buttress the fact that a thief is stealing from a thief.
Yeah.
Bro, that is what happens. Whenever you allow people into your house, I just had a boy and who just left the house. He stole items worth over 700,000, barely 2 months. When people feel they have the ability to do anything, they will just do it. So Israel is not exempt, neither is Iran exempt. But what I don't appreciate about the Western Bloc and the Iranians and whatnot is because they are benefiting from this war. They should let peace reign and let us exist because at the end of the day, Israel is a holy land. That is what the Bible says. He's a Christian. But to this day, there's never been peace in Israel. How do you expect the people who don't live in the Holy Land to fail?
All right. Now that is like a silencer, so to speak. How would you as people living in the Holy Land to fail? Don't forget that we have Muslims also in the Holy Land. Both religions are present in the Holy Land. All right, 30 seconds.
As the people who live outside the state of Israel, like you and I.
All right, 30 seconds, because our time is up. I can get the signal, yeah.
Okay, I'll just conclude by thanking my doctor, and he says my lamentations. I talked about his inconsistencies. Because the bully, you say, he has the weak equipment. The Israel has sophisticated equipment. And who now is the bully? It's someone with the weak equipment that's bullying.
All right. Israel, you are bullying. That's bullying.
I want to say something.
Listen, tag that as bullying. No. He said our time was up.
It's okay, sir.
That's bullying.
All right. Conclusively, the world should note one thing.
Yes.
In future, you can investigate this.
Yeah.
The only evidence of who the original Israelis were of the Bible is Jesus Christ and Samson. Both of them had dreadlocks by the Bible description. And I've lived long enough in Europe I am a permanent resident in Germany, to know that there's no white man that his hair can curl.
Are you saying Jesus is black?
I don't know.
I talked about the
investigation.
Thank you. Our time is up.
Maccabee. There's no reason the book of Maccabee.
Our time is up. Well,
Yeah.
so many controversies being raised because of this issue, but peace should be our watchword. Israel, de-escalate. Iran, de-escalate. There should be peace in the Gaza Strip. Come on. The way you're going about the Hamas thing, the word is like complaining, that means you need to listen. You need to listen. That's why the father Hamas may be using human shield. You have to be surgical. If you cannot be surgical, then stop. Please stop. It's too much. Gentlemen, thank you once more for coming on today's show.
Thank you very
much.
much.
Wonderful analysis. We keep watching, we keep analyzing, we keep informed of what is happening internationally on international forums. See you next week, God willing. Bye for now.